In a broken wasteland, come to my fire.
What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson. I am your host. With us this week, we have Robbie and Nate from Noosebearer. Local boys here on the show. And you know how I've always said, I hate fucking calling bands local bands because everybody was a local band, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I'm going to soapbox on you guys here really fast. But, I mean, with bands today where, you know, you might have members all over the fucking world, or at least all over the United States, wherever you are, what the fuck is exactly a local band anymore? We're all just trying to make the way in the scene. Dudes, what the fuck is going on?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having us.
Of course, yeah. It's been far too long, honestly, because... You know, you all have been on the radar for quite some time. We've shared shows before. We've booked, just coming and seeing you guys in wherever it may be, up in Scottsburg,
yeah,
places like that. Wrong side for the people who know formerly Losers. Losers 812 is Jason Gardner, the heavy metal co-host is not here today, so it's a little early for him. Yeah, so what the fuck's up? Y'all got a new album coming out, but before we get into all that talk, fucking how's it going?
It's good, man. The past probably 2 months or so have been really, we put in quite a bit of work. You know us, you've talked to us quite a few times. We typically fall into the same category that I think a lot of other bands do, that we don't like to say no. So we knew it was time for new music, but the shows kept coming and we just kept saying yes. And then finally I think it was about last November, we all got together and we're just like, hey, we've got to put ourselves on some sort of timetable. We're not going to get anything done. We're just going to keep playing the songs that we have. So we really knuckled down and got to it around the start of the year, and really excited to get this shit out and have some people hear it, man.
It really was like one of the hard, like he was saying, like we had to say no. It was one of the hardest things. Like, I don't know how, I think I've turned down, because even after we were done and everything was recorded, I turned down probably 8 or 10 shows just because I was like, we have to rehearse and get these new songs tight.
Sure.
So we just decided to. We did play a Metal Fest in Knoxville. That's the only one, but.
Well, it's the bane of the existence of any independent musician, I think, because the lifeline is both of those things. You know, having new I hate saying content, so I've got to break that habit, because we are not content creators, we're artists.
Yeah.
But no, between having new songs, which fuels people to keep looking you up, and playing shows, which fuels people to come and see you and buy merch and, just even have a beer with you guys, because we're not above that. And the thing is like, yeah, you really have to learn how to say no. And not in the sense of like, like Nancy Reagan's just say no. Fuck that bitch. But seriously though, yeah, like take June for example, for Overload. We had that show we had talked about beforehand at the Alcove. Then we've got the night one release for you guys, and then we've got another one at Mag in like a couple of weeks after that. And it's like, well, shit, what the fuck happened all of a sudden? But yeah, you totally gotta you got to buckle down and really do it, I think.
Yeah, it's really hard, because I think when we started this band, like every other band, it was all about, we just want to play shows. That's all we want to do, And so turning anything down is not really our style, but, and we didn't want to go. We could have probably pretty easily kept going the singles route, because I think like the last 2 years, that's since our debut EP, that's all we had done. A single this year, 2 singles last year, or maybe it was vice versa. And it was one of those, we don't really want to do that again. We want to get like a full piece, and really, and we had, tossed around the idea of even going the full length route and it was just the timetable wasn't going to add up to what it would take us to write those songs and still stay somewhat relevant, you know?
Yeah, it
No,
was already
I totally agree with
nerve-wracking enough to get what done we had done, really.
Well, so how is the situation for you guys? Because like I know where Swartz lives, and like I know Robbie, are you up in like Madison area?
Will, our bass player, is in Madison. I live
Okay.
a half hour north of Madison in North Vernon.
Okay,
So
I know where that is.
So
Okay.
we're actually all spread out. So Max, the vocalist, is from Seymour. Robbie's from North Vernon. We practice in Scottsburg, which is where I'm from. We're actually at a practice spot right now.
Right on.
So it's kind of one of those Robbie snags Max. Schwartz comes from the south. Will comes from the east, and it's
sure. And I mean, no, that's how it is these days. And that's what I said. Like when you say local band, where the fuck exactly are you local to? Because you know, on the surface, that might just be like, oh, well, you know, it's like 20, 30 miles or whatever, 40 maybe. But like when you really get into it, it's like, you know, 812 or whatever at that point.
That's, I think all of our merch is 812, and anytime you see us live, Max always says Southern Indiana.
Southern Indiana or
yeah. And again, you know, that's what I'm talking about, is like where, you know, for like I said, somebody on the surface, it's like, oh, they're all from Indiana, but yeah, we know like there's actually distance there. And so that's totally cool. So when you all go into do the recording and stuff and practice, obviously, you know, you're getting together, but like when like recording and writing come up, you know, because obviously, you know, you've got to practice for the show, and everybody's schedules, you know, with, you know, 4 and 5+ member of band, you know, it is kind of fucking hard.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, so those are actually, the recording process for us is typically pretty smooth, because by the time we go in to nail it down, we've went over about every possibility in this room. So it'll typically start with like a riff idea. Schwartz will, you know, I've got 50 riff videos in my phone, you know. Somebody will send a riff, I'll have a riff, whatever it is. We'll start hammering it out. I'm like, for some reason, this past couple of years, been like composition guy. So if Schwartz sends a riff, immediately I'm starting to think what's going to go next after that riff. We'll hammer those two, and then he'll come in with, well, hey, what if we do this after this? And this is where it needs to loop. So typically by the time we go to record, we're about 80% there, I would say. Lay it down, listen to it, set with it for about 2 weeks. And if something starts to not kind of sound right, that's kind of the good thing about us doing everything in-house, is we're not on a crunch and we're not up against the money clock either.
So I record everything and do all of our
I was going to ask about that, because obviously it's the most cost-effective way of doing things these days, especially
initially it was just for demos. Like we weren't planning on the stuff that we actually did in-house ever making its way out. And then I think we did, so Robbie and I actually went up and demoed in Indy the first song we ever, and it was just us two at this time. We didn't even have a band yet. We knew we wanted to start something, and we had a couple songs completely done. Well, by the time we traveled to Indy and actually paid for it, it was like, well, and then we lived with it. It was like, yeah, it sounds good. It would be a lot easier if we straight up could do even just the drum stems. Is going to sound like save a substantial amount of time. And then as soon as we did the first demos, it was like, well, this sounds really good. And if we take a little more time with it, we can actually make it sound great enough to actually release.
I'm fortunate enough. I've got this crazy gift where I'm just naturally good about everything I do if I put my mind to it. So I've been slowly getting really good at it too. And I got a lot to learn still, but it just keeps getting better. It just makes more sense for me to get good at it. And I know what sounds best for us. Like I know what we like. So it just makes sense for us to do it.
Well, yeah, because, you know, I think it does have a valid point to get someone else's ears on something.
For sure.
So, but like the whole recording process, yeah, I mean, why not do it DIY, you know, because the technology is there for it at this point. You know, 20 years ago, you know, No, maybe not. I mean, there were people doing it, but it was, you could tell the stack difference, right? Now, with everything digital, you almost really can't tell the difference between amp sims for one. I mean, there's going to be some people out there that are like, oh, I know that's a Kemper or whatever, because they've just got some weird fucking like you said, they just said, like with you're really good at a lot of things, that they have this like weird like ear, and there's people like that, but no, just like the whole thing of just, even if you recorded your own stuff and sent it out to be mixed and mastered from somebody else, that is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. I think that's probably definitely in our future, doing it like that too. Obviously, we could get a like you said, like another set of ears on it, but like pay somebody who that's what they do. We'd probably still do the exact same thing we're doing now and just send it off. But like right now, I guess if we're not like in any record labels radar or anything that we know of, so
yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, that's a whole other situation this day and age too. Yeah, you've got, I mean, the days of like Sony and Columbia and fucking, all those Atlantic, all that shit, Epic, all those fucking labels are gone for bands like us, I think. So I mean, at best, you've got stuff like Metal Blade, No Remorse, all those, there's a slew of independent labels out there that you never know. And you never know who has connections into what. And just because, just even like knowing certain people and just like, yeah, that person does PR work for this company. And it's like, wow, what?
yeah.
And it's like the weirdest things that you ever see, I think. But no, getting the like I said though, getting the alternate set of ears on it, it takes away a lot of the man, does the bass need to be louder? Does the guitars need to come down or drums come up? It really does eliminate a lot of that, because yeah, they're not as married to it as we are as artists.
Well, and a couple cool. We do have it's a pretty tight knit group, of guys that have probably already heard everything that, obviously the new piece comes out on Friday, but we're not keeping everything super in house. Whereas, it is just us five and that's it. We do like have a couple homeboys that, hey, what do you think of this? This is kind of the direction we're going. And then all those inputs are kind of, obviously our friends aren't going to be the ones that like, yeah, that'd be cool, but maybe you try that in this key instead. Nothing like that. It's always just like, hey, that sounds like a good song. And it's worked so far, and hopefully people like this new piece and continues to work for us.
Well, I already know that like I need to pick up the vinyl, because the vinyl looks fucking rad as shit.
Thank you.
We're really excited about it.
I love I'm always like I love the like album covers.
Yeah.
I think that's where first and foremost, people hear with their eyes first,
for sure.
And when you have just like a stark cover of, like with the statue in this, but like even just in general, like, I mean, like even like things like Machine Head from Deep Purple, it's just, or Paranoid from Sabbath, they have these fucking, like, what does this mean cover?
Yeah.
And that's what I like about that stuff.
It draws you in,
Yeah, it definitely draws you in, but like the whole splatter vinyl and everything, is just completely cool as hell too.
Thank you. Yeah, we went all out on this one. That's for sure.
I look at also like with what you're saying, even just a logo it means a lot. So like a store, like a sign on the front of a store, like if you look at that store and they got a cool logo or a cool sign, it's like you might want to go in and check it out. You might not even know what they sell in there. It's like like that visual image.
And the funny thing too is there's also the inverse of all that. There you could see a logo of a store and be like, I never want to fucking go there.
Well, that's it happens a lot rarer these days with streaming, of course. But I'm sure that we've all been bitten by the record store. You pick something up, this looks awesome, and then you get over.
I mean, awesome. and honestly, I think it's just as it can be just as much with streaming as well, because where do you find your stuff at? I mean, I'm sure just like with me, you're looking at places like your outlets that put out bands that you like, whether it be on say the New Wave traditional heavy metal page, where they show all of the albums that are coming out each month, and they share a lot of them as well. But you see the album covers there as well, or you see somebody share something and you're like, wow, that looks pretty fucking cool. And then what do? Spotify or Tidal or who the fuck ever,
Before, I remember going to like years ago, I remember going to just like Best Buy or Walmart and used to be able to scan the CDs,
previews,
little preview.
Oh,
Used to rely on that a lot.
So, okay. So you unlocked a fucking memory here.
Nice.
And this is what we do. Okay. This is where things go fucking nuts, because everything goes, it's like, you brought something up from childhood here. I remember going to record stores and them actually having like the CDs on the wall, where they had like a listening station.
Yep.
So you could go in and if it was a fancy store, they had like different ones that they had like one disc that would play like the snippet of song, and you just put the one button. It's like this little miniature, like 2x2 piece of artwork of the album, and they would change it out as new releases came out. And it's like, wow. And now it's all just fucking like, this is fucking trad metal on Spotify. Or, the Statler Brothers or whatever you fucking listen to. And it just fucking randomizes your next track. I mean, which is cool, because I have come up and got some really kick-ass bands out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I totally get that. And it's such a weird time to, I can only imagine like doing the exact same thing like in the 70s and 80s with like either 8 tracks or the vinyl listening stations like you see in like older movies from that era and shit. So
yeah, I always thought that whatever the record store Hyde gets in the later seasons of the 70s show looked like just the coolest place ever. Like their couch in there. Put on whatever you want to check out.
It's like a head shop. Yeah. Which is totally cool. We actually have quite a few here around town that are really cool like that. Like Electric Ladyland is really cool. Record store wise, Guest Room is really fucking awesome too. I love going there. Their metal selection is pretty fucking awesome, because they've got a decent collection of a lot of different things. If you want to do some black metal, they've got that, but like the days where like 3,000 square foot stores are fucking of just music, where you could fucking get anything under the sun, is kind of few and far between these days.
Yeah, I used to, I remember the elementary, middle school days saving the allowance. And then as soon as I had enough, or what I thought was enough for whatever I was saving for, tell the folks, drive me down to Ear Ecstasy, they're going to have it. And
yeah. And I was not going to name drop them because I didn't know. So I don't know what your age group is. I know early 30s, late 20s.
Yeah, our vocalist is the baby. I think he's like 23. I'm 37.
Chris is the old man.
Yeah.
because Chris, I believe, is older than me by a little bit, not much.
Yeah, so we're mostly mid-30s, and then Chris.
Okay, so yeah, you would totally know about Ear Ecstasy and everything. Yeah. So yeah, but did you ever go to the? It's not really the first location, but it's the one where the Panera was for the longest time.
I'm not sure. It was in the same spot from when I started going there to when they closed, and it was right by Mark's Feed Store. Like, yeah, I think the block after that.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's the spot I always went to.
Well, see, they also had moved down to where the Kinko's and FedEx was. By the CVS pharmacy, which was crazy. And it was such a smaller store that was just like, oh my gosh, because that place had an upstairs in it and like so much cool shit upstairs. Fucking, I miss that place.
Yeah, I remember like the first time I ever went upstairs, and it was one of those, I was too young, and obviously like the big vinyl resurgence hadn't happened yet. So you go in, there's just CDs everywhere. You know, beeline straight for the metal section at that time, and then just kind of take everything else in. And I wandered upstairs, and I was like, records? Like, people still buy these? And then
and they were all like dollar bin stuff.
Yeah. So it'd be really weird to see what it would look like now if it had kept going.
Oh my God. Well, honestly, you know, I think the closest approximation to what it would be like is if you probably had taken both Guest Room and Better Days and put them, bam, right? Yeah. Like in the same building, one on top of the other. I think that's what it would be. And, you know, and I do miss, like I said, that stuff, but you know, it's everybody has their thing, you know, whether it's streaming, whether it's going and digging through the bins, doing those things. But yeah, I mean, now it's like, it's all fucking Bandcamp, you know. Bandcamp is a huge thing, you know, where people put their albums on there and you can deal direct with the artist. It almost eliminates the need for, you know, consigning records in a record store these days.
Sure. There's just something about having that physical media, though. It's really nice to have it. You can't get from. I like the quick listen, like you can look it up and listen to it.
Oh, sure.
In the car and whatever. But something about having that physical media is like, I get excited when I'll go buy a record and I'll scan it put on my Discogs, and I love it.
See, that's something I haven't got into. And the only reason why I haven't got into it yet, and I've got a lot of pieces that would probably be like, wow, you've got one of those. It's like, yeah, I do. But like, the thing is like just going through and putting the collection on there, just the time it would take.
It's pretty quick though. Really, you can scan the barcode.
He got lucky. He's still a relative newbie. Yeah. This is probably within like the last 6 months to a year. So he started at the ground floor. So he was able to do it as he was getting them.
I mean, I'm not, you know, I don't want to scan fucking like 1,300 fucking CDs, you know? and then you get the ones that are like, I want to put everything on there
for sure.
Not just, you know, the 14 copies of fucking Black Sabbath that I have, you know. That's exaggerated. I think I've got like 5, but still of the same album. But like, you know, I would want to put like your guys' stuff on there that I have, or my band stuff on there that I have, you know, and, you know, just to make it readily available for archival purposes, you know, which Metal Archives, for example, you know, there's not a page for you guys on there. I don't know why. So I'm going to try and like submit you guys. But like they, you know, their archivalist stuff with like it's like Discogs, like crazy. It's like, you know, Kill 'Em All. Just say Kill 'Em All is fucking, they have like every single copy that's ever been released listed. Like whether it's been on tape, CD, dual packs, vinyl, fucking in like Czechoslovakia and like South American presses. And it's so weird. And Discogs is the same way, which I do like it. It's just, Do I want to put in that amount of time?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. If you've got that many, I can see that being a. But I would probably go just do your little section at a time. Every
Yeah.
on the weekend, have
All
some
right.
coffee.
Damn it, motherfucker! You sold me on it. I'm gonna have to fucking. I'm off this coming weekend, so I'll probably do it then. I'll start it then.
We'll talk to you next month.
Yeah. No shit.
It is nice too because you can. I like it so far too, where you get so it like. For one, it's a quick look at like, oh yeah, I've got this variant or all these different ones, but like it gives you a general like what your collection's worth too. It's kind of nice knowing like or you might have a copy you pay $20 for and someone's selling it for $80. Like, oh shit, I paid $20 for that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I do get that as well because you do know what your valuation is. And if something were to ever happen, like, thinking like the adults in the room, where, speaking of the adults in the room, like with insurance and shit like that, if your record collection is valued at fucking 25 grand or some shit, yeah, that's a lot of money that you would like to have back.
For sure.
So yeah, I totally get that. So also you've got the shows coming up. Today, by the time this is airing, it's Friday the 13th. So you've got the show at Wrong Side. God damn it. It's the whole thing, it's still losers to me. God damn it.
Yeah.
Wrong Side in Jeffersonville tonight and the Barrel Room at 21st in Germantown on Saturday the 14th. So 2 shows. What are we gonna do? It's like, are we gonna do like the no repeat weekend?
Yes, unless for some reason we'll get an encore. I guess we'll have to play at least one repeat song.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a thing. Like no repeat weekend is pretty cool, but you're also doing this to celebrate the album release.
Yeah.
So we've got all of the new ones will be split amongst the 2 sets. So, if there's, and we deliberately gave a week there where hopefully, get the spins up, people check it out, see what songs you like. And if you come on Friday and we don't play it, hey, come out tomorrow night.
Saturday. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
That's a great idea.
The other thought too, really, is we've kind of we've gathered, we've made so many friends too. So we've got a lot of friends bands, and it was all the ones that we really want to play. It's it doesn't make sense to have everybody play on one night. I mean, it would be kind of cool. But
but you're getting into festival territory at that rate.
Yeah.
If you're going to, because what is there? 4 bands are tonight?
4 bands on each night. Yep.
Yeah. So, take you guys out of it for one night. And what is that? 7, 8 bands?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I totally get that. And you'd have to start at 4:00.
Well, not only that, and then you've got the walkout factor, because I don't care how much you like the later bands, that fatigue does start to set in once you're at hour 6,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's with anything, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things, I'm a wrestling fan. Do you guys do any of the wrestling stuff?
I was the 90s.
Yeah.
Late 90s.
Okay, cool.
Attitude Era.
So that's one of the things now I'm grateful for, because the shows are back down to 2.5 to 3 hours on the pay-per-views or PLEs now. And where they for a time, some of them were 6 and 7 hours. It's fuck. And even that, watching it on TV is fatigue.
Yeah. I can't and I'm not on TikTok or anything, so I've still got a little bit of attention span left, but it's a tough set. I appreciate that The Godfather Part 2 has an intermission where I can go stretch the legs a little bit,
Wow, you really deep dove there to Part 2. So okay, sorry, Robbie, we got to talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of 3?
It's been a long time, and I'll tell you the truth. You know, first of all, it's a task. You know, that's a sit for 1 and 2, both great. You know,
Oh, sure.
you've got to carve out a Saturday to.
Well,
And
yeah, it's just like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I went and watched. My cousin was real young when the Peter Jackson ones came out, but he's huge into it. And I remember going to the theater with him. I don't remember if it was Two Towers or Return of the King. It was one of them, and it was one of those you get 2.5 hours in or whatever it is, and you've taken 3 piss breaks. It's like this is a rough
and you're
sit.
still doing it. No, I think 3's just misunderstood, personally, of Godfather 3. But yeah, 2, fuck.
Yeah,
I 2 is so good, especially with like the scenes in like Italy and stuff, and like the old scenes where Vito's like 20 and shit, and it's just so
you
good.
You talk about, you know, I'm usually, some films are pretty hard to follow that jump back and forth in timelines. That one, you're right there. You know, it's perfect.
Oh, sure. No, I totally get. I love it. You know, that whole series is so fucking good to me.
Yeah.
You know, I just
Maybe I need to tune into the third one again.
Well, like I said, it's interesting because it's like Michael is trying to go as legitimate as possible finally, and then he gets involved with fucking bigger mobsters than him. That's really what it is. And it's just like, oh fuck. Because it's the fucking church. But no, like what's your favorite movies?
I'm simple. I like Major League.
Yes.
But I love horror movies too, really. I think possibly Donnie Darko is up there for me.
I'm a pretty big simpleton too. Like I appreciate a good movie, and I'll try to wrap my head around some of these like more artistic movies. But Forrest Gump just hits, you know.
You know that's so weird that you bring that up, because I was scrolling through we all do the thing. We all have content overload.
Yeah.
Not to put too fine a point on overload.
I see.
So there's always the thing of where you sit down and you're just like, click, click, click. I don't want to watch that. That doesn't look good. I don't want to watch that. I think that's our way today of the digging through the stacks at the record store, is cycling through what to watch on like Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus or all these streaming services, you know, because it's like, I don't like that guy. And there's like some people that transcend. But my point of saying this is, so I was scrolling through like Paramount the other day, and I saw Forrest Gump on there. Would you believe me if I said that it was listed in the comedy section?
I believe that.
I mean, I don't even know what to put it under. Just, it's probably not under classics yet, but
I mean, no, I think it's a classic at this point. It's 95, you know. Yeah. And I remember when that movie came out, and it was such a fucking huge deal. That was like that and like the film Philadelphia.
Yeah.
With
Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks just killing it.
And I think that is when he grew up as an actor, because before that he was doing fucking like Turner and Hooch,
Bachelor Party.
Yes. And honestly, what's so fucking wild about that is like, he is like fucking the Pantera of actors. They don't acknowledge the Glamterra era, like power metal and that shit. Like Pantera does, they won't ever re-release it. He never fucking acknowledges shit like Bachelor Party because it's so fucking raunchy.
Yeah, Turner and Hooch is one of my favorites too, though. That's I can't mess with the dog movies very often, especially that one. But that's a good one.
Yeah, no, that's totally a good one. So yeah, we just derail. It's like whatever comes up, fucking whatever happens, you know.
Love it.
So yeah, I mean, totally cool stuff. Come out to the shows, do the things, do the stuff. We're gonna break over here. We're gonna play a song. What do you all want to hear of yours?
We're staring at the set lists right now. If you want to just play the title track, Cost of Life, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Hell yeah. So yeah, coming back, you know, we're gonna talk here some general profile questions about you dudes as people, you know. This is called Derailed, but if you've noticed, the whole fucking show is derailed. Because we talked about Forrest Gump in the comedy section a minute ago. And like, I don't think it's a comedy. I think it's like, you know, there's some serious shit that happens in there. Not as so much as what happens in the book. because he goes
not dove in there yet.
But there's also a lot of dumb stuff that happens too, though. I guess it's like I can see.
Yeah, like showing his ass to Johnson, fucking like where he gets shot in the ass and it's all that shit. But no, like in the book, he's a fucking pro wrestler at one point. He goes into space at one point, which is actually, I think, what they did with Apollo 11, which was Tom Hanks' next movie. No, because it was Forrest in Space.
Hey, Lieutenant Dan was in that one too.
Yes, he was.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he was. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
Oh.
Personally, not as a band.
That I was a good friend. That's always a pretty nice thing to hear.
Shit, I don't know.
Rad ink, man. No.
Yeah. Those zeros. Those double zeros. No, I think I don't know. I mean, I've gotten all kinds of compliments, I guess. That's a tough question.
That is a tough question.
Well, dude, you're an amazing fucking drummer. I mean,
I get compliments. I was trying not to tie it to band stuff too. I mean,
but I mean, you share the stuff because you also do tattoos, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, so you share those. You share those and fucking like, dude, that's some awesome fucking work. I mean, I'd totally come up and get something.
Will, our bassist, he tattoos in Madison too. We're both of us really are taking a money hit, even playing that Friday the 13th show. Worth it though.
Dude, but you know what? I'll say this. He's tattooing in Madison, right? So he's taking money from Kat Von D, who lives there now.
Yeah.
So
I think she's supposed to be opening a shop too, I think, in like
exactly.
But
it's a not needed shop.
Yeah.
It's like it's the Black Album of shops. No.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so AI is a big thing these days. And whether it's kind of faux pas as a band to use AI for your artwork or your videos or anything. Well, and I do agree with that. Like your actual album artwork should be something real, should be, you really done by an artist, However, I don't necessarily think that it's all bad because it could be used as a tool. But the point of the question is, in going into the future through like things like AI, do you think that will ultimately alter the human lifespan?
No.
Like, do you think we'll become like a complacent being and like where we don't have to tear our fucking bodies apart doing like bullshit work that, you know what I'm saying?
So I do think it's really wild how you can like you can tell something to write me a song that sounds like Deftones, and like it can write you a song that sounds like Deftones. I think that's it's really wild, and I can see where people might think that would be like scary, I guess. But as far as, I don't know, all that other stuff, it's like I like the comedy aspect of it, like using it for stuff like that, like for funny, like making fun of stuff, I guess, depending on what it is. But
yeah, I think it'll definitely, like, you'll be able to pick up on it, like when it's there, but it's almost going to be like the Fruit Loops of anything, right? You're always going to have your Towns Van Zandt kind of guys that are going to do things,
Sure.
I don't want to say the hard way, but like the more traditional, get your hands dirty kind of artists,
Sure.
And I don't think that those people, they might be, few and far between, but they're already few and far between. So I don't.
You're absolutely right with that. I dig that. Yeah, because there is still going to be a need for a lot of things. like you said, the dudes that go out and get their hands dirty, the ones that actually paint, the ones that, that actually go out and you're not writing something on a synthesizer that's, or anything like that. You're actually playing a physical drums, whether they're electric or not, or acoustic. But you know what I mean? So
yeah, I think using it is like some directions, not, like,
well, I totally
as a tool, like you said.
Yeah, it's a tool to get your idea into a physical form. Like, see, I suck at drawing, but I mean, like, I can fucking doodle some shit, but that's about it. But like storyboarding for music videos and movies and stuff that I'm working on, fucking, that's totally something that's been rad as shit to be able to use like a storyboard app and then have like an AI feature and just say, plug in the text from the script, and it creates it in the model that and you can take it from like pencil drawing to straight up rendered fucking pictures.
Yeah, I guess I just always appreciated the guys like, immediately when you ask that question, I just think of like Hemingway. The story of like him and how he lived is almost as interesting as any of the pieces that he released, Like, yes, that stuff's all great and it's all classics, but I think knowing that he like lived his kind of life makes it even more enjoyable when you're reading one of his works.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, and that's like somebody like a Lemmy.
Yeah.
Lemmy and Hemingway, when you think about it, are kind of like opposite like career paths, but kind of the same person. They drank drugs, fucking all kinds, lived all over the fucking place. Like Hemingway lived in Cuba for a while, which is totally like what during like what Stranger in a Strange Land when he wrote it. It was when he lived in Cuba or something like that, which is totally fucking cool.
And the stories of like him running with the bulls or whatever else that
sure.
It's just like such a cool cat that I think makes the art that much more enjoyable when you know those stories.
Definitely. Would you ever consider writing to someone in jail as a pen pal?
Not as a pen pal. I've been there. But I wouldn't like not a pen. I mean, I would write to somebody, yeah. Not like, I don't know if I would just like be like friends with them, like if it was somebody I already knew, I would definitely write.
Sure.
If they sent me a letter, I'd respond to them.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing. Like if you got locked up, I would write to you for sure. But if I don't know, just about some like a random, is that what the question was?
Yeah, like like they have those things. Hey, I'm mailbox number so and so. Write to me, blah blah blah.
I think
because they like don't have nobody to talk to.
For sure.
I get the not having somebody to talk to. I think it's weird to like. I think it's a little bit. I think it's not so much weird for that person that's locked up. I think it's weird for the person that's. I mean, I know there's people that do that. They try to reach out to help people. Like they want to help someone. But I think,
but I see where you're going with this. I see where you're going with this because like there's a subset in that culture of what we're talking about that it's almost like it's a fetish to a degree.
Yes, yeah. Like they need to help
somebody. Where not just the aspect of helping them, but like it's the thing of they're true crime junkies.
Mm-hmm.
And like the ones who like actually like who I don't know who write to Richard Ramirez in prison and are like sending him nude pictures and stuff. That stuff is just kind of like, what? I can't believe that people did that.
I know that there's people that buy their art and shit.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, honestly, Merle Allen from the Murder Junkies, he did art of incarcerated people.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would have like, Ted Bundy and Richard Ramirez and, all these other serial killers and stuff like that. But he was such a great artist with it. He still is, but just if that, I mean, people dig that, I guess.
Yeah, I think that would be a tough one for me. I think if like my mom stops by or something, and I've got a portrait of Richard Ramirez hanging in the living room, that might open
Well,
up.
I mean, I guess it's not, I mean, is it any different than having like, I don't know, I've got a fucking a He-Man figure on the desk here. Like,
That's true.
Is it any different than that? It's I guess it's your pursued interest.
Yeah. I've been locked up, and I definitely would appreciate it when someone wrote me or whatever, or wrote me back if I wrote them. But I think if it's a complete stranger and just like you met a friend, like if you're like online dating or something.
Sure.
I don't think I would now.
Right on. What's the most exotic food you've ever eaten?
Cow tongue in Japan. That was pretty gnarly.
Hell yeah.
It was good. It was good.
Do the shrooms count?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they are edible.
I think. Shit, I don't even know. I don't do nothing crazy, exotic.
I'll try stuff, but my big thing with foods is if I'm gonna spend money on it, I would rather it be something that I know I'm gonna like.
Oh, okay. So you're a creature of habit. You go to El Nopal and you get the same thing every time.
I've got we've got a local Mexican joint here that we hit it every Thursday, and I've got like 3 dishes that I will rotate between. So it's not the same thing every time, but yeah, I've got.
But it might be from here. It might be from this week to next. If you're in the mood for it. No, yeah. I'm totally the same way. I have the same thing at El Nopal that I get pretty much any chain Mexican restaurant like that. I do the same thing. I'm getting like it's like the Monica platter. It's rice, shrimp, chicken, and queso.
Yeah. You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
I've had alligator jerky before. That was probably the most exotic I think
I've had fresh fried alligator. Like when I was like 13, my dad drove a semi truck, and we that year I went with him to California for the first time. And when we came back, we had to come back and basically drive all the way back to Florida. And we had stopped at a restaurant there in Louisiana, and they had alligator on the fucking buffet. And yeah, it's wild. They had ostrich.
I've had an ostrich. I think I've had an ostrich burger too. I just don't remember what it tastes like though. I guess it's been so long ago.
Yeah. Well, down here in New Albany on Grantline, there is a exotic like meat store. They have like all kinds of things. They've got like duck, they've got ostrich, they've got alligator, they've got all kinds of stuff. I'll have to find it out and shoot you the link to it.
Yeah, right on.
Shoot you the address or something so you could stop by one day. But yeah, it's totally cool stuff. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good one. But no, I have one more question. But before we get into it, as always, links, they're listed below. So gives likes, shares, and follows, do all the things and all the stuff. Go support, go buy albums, merch. Go to the Square page where you can purchase the album on there. Well, yeah, just click the links down below. Guys, do you have anybody else you'd like to shout out or anything else you'd like to promote today?
Yeah, everybody that's playing with us. So I guess this will be, you said this coming out on the 13th?
Yeah.
Yeah, so all you guys that are participating, including yourself, tonight and tomorrow. So Fall and you guys, the boys in Draped in Black. And then Saturday will be Strafe, our homies in Septic Vessel. and Isolator, coming out of a little bit of a hiatus to come help us out. So all those boys for sure.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I wish we could have had. There's other bands we definitely wanted to share the 2 days with us, but they were unavailable. So
Sure.
But like Slum City, Give Up. Wish they could have joined us.
Hell yeah.
Oh, we got so many, so many friends, and we love it. I love it. I love everybody.
Yeah.
Shit yeah, dudes. Hell yeah. So I always like to go into a weird situation at the last question on the show.
Right.
It's either conspiracies, it's either space, conspiracies, like what the fuck's out there kind of shit. And today is no different because what do you think of people who create false shit like hoaxes to make money, like P.T. Barnum, Vince McMahon, fucking, that would create a known hoax to make money. One in particular, if you're into like aliens, there was a guy named Travis Meredith, I believe Meredith was his last name. But he got abducted by aliens in like the 70s, and it was all bullshit.
I think for like a haunted house or something, like Halloween, you set up something for
sure,
like an attraction or something like that. I think that's probably cool for me. I think to like make something up, like I don't know, I went to hell and back, but I really didn't, I don't know. And then like write a book or maybe somebody actually believes you and then publish something that now you're making money off of some story that
that's what the alien abductee did. He said he got abducted by aliens. He wrote a book about it, or had a like ghostwriter or whatever write a book about it, and it ended up being made into a film in the 90s.
But someone might say that guy's smart too, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a definite there's a weird line there. I know the guys that you mentioned, like Vince McMahon, first one. What makes what he does any different than like a film director? Because I think with wrestling, the cat's out of the bag, right? Like kayfabe's not really a thing anymore.
Kayfabe can't die any harder than it already has.
Yeah,
but I think too, with that is like, I think there's still some bit of it there because I've heard so many people say there's only two things real in that business, and that's the money and the miles. So I don't know, does it make it does it make it right? I guess. I don't know.
I think morally, wrestling, I think it's a little bit different. If you're acting, like if you're playing a role,
like there's something
and you're
about
good at it
there that it's accepted.
Okay, so take this for example. Okay, I see where you're going with this. Take this for example. Hulk Hogan sued Gawker back 10 years ago. Won like $140 million lawsuit over his sex tape that got leaked.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is also the same tape where he was like, being a massive fucking racist.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is he testified as if they were two different people. Terry Bollea and Hulk Hogan were two different people. And his justification of this came down to an argument about Hulk Hogan has a 10-inch dick. Terry Bollea does not, but Hulk Hogan does. And so that's where they proved, it was damaging to the man of Terry Bollea. And it's just like, what? So yeah, like shit like that. Yeah, I see where you were saying like somebody who makes something up, and if they're playing a part, It's like, especially in wrestling, because it's like,
But some people aren't like that all the time. Like some people, they're in character. There's other times when they're out in public, they're not in character. But like
sure.
Vince McMahon, he's like always in. His character is he's always
is him, yeah. And Randy Savage was the same way, apparently. You know, he was intense the entire fucking time, whether he was in front of the camera or not.
Yeah, that seems to be definitely more of like the old school. Like there's a bunch of those guys that, and I think I'm a sucker for, I know you mentioned Netflix earlier. It seems like the only time I go there is like for docuseries or documentaries now. And for some reason, like I think the whole band watched that Vince McMahon one when it dropped. And
you could have totally skipped the first 5 episodes.
I thought it was pretty good.
It was totally good, but there was like no new information until the very last fucking episode. I'm like, you motherfuckers. And then that's when he refused. He refused to do any interviews after that lawsuit came out.
Well, I think Netflix had a stake in WWE then too. So,
well, they do now.
They did. I think when they halfway through recording that, they already knew they were going to buy it. That's
what they had said on there was one of those captions.
They knew they were going to buy it.
Well, they bought the rights to Raw, is what it was.
Yeah.
Oh.
They bought the streaming rights to Raw. So this is like this year when it went to Netflix, is the first time that like it's never been on like actual television.
Yeah, they got me good on one the other day about the Liver King. And I was like, this is going to be interesting as hell. And then I watched it and no, this guy's just playing his character the whole time. It's like,
sure.
I didn't even know he was still relevant, but he was still getting it.
Jeez. Dude. Go ahead.
I think that it does take like that someone to morally do something like that. I don't think I could. I don't have it in me to like make up this story. I guess even if I was making money, I don't think I have that in me. I think it takes a certain type of person to be able to do that. I get making money. If you can do it easily, I guess I don't.
Yeah, I have a hard time writing, knowing that I would purposefully write something as nonfiction, knowing that it was made up. Whereas if it was accepted as fiction, right on, I'll write you the craziest story you've ever heard.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, there's a band that everybody loves out there. Okay. They're such a renowned band that fucking everybody just loves them. But to me, I'm a writer, it's hard for me to write myself into a situation that I haven't experienced.
Yep.
And I understand that there are people out there who can do that. It kind of comes off like the snake oil salesman, like P.T. Barnum, like Vince McMahon. It kind of comes off that way. Like the band that everybody knows and loves, Nickelback. They have songs like that where, so like knowingly spinning the yarn of a situation that like is like a may not have ever happened, but you're playing it off as if it did.
I've been saying I knew that he wasn't actually in a photograph. I've been saying that.
Sure, yeah, he's never been photographed. No, the fucking crazy thing, and I don't advocate for this at all, but the only video that I ever fucking like come up in my feed about them is where they're playing in fucking Brazil, and fucking he goes, "Yo, ready to hear some rock and roll?" He gets fucking hit in the head with a rock, and he goes, "Guess not," and fucking walks off.
A rock? That's pretty hardcore. I mean, I get like an empty bottle or something. The rocks, rock. Shoot, I'll show you how to rock.
Dudes, thank you all so much for coming to the Metal Forge this week. This is awesome, of course, because this is being recorded last week and it's being dropped today. It's doing the thing and all the stuff. Looking forward to playing with you guys. It's going to be fucking rad as shit. I love Wrong Side, Losers, whatever you want to fucking call it at this point. On our way out today from the new album as well, what do you all want to play again?
Probably
We've got the set list right up behind you. That's what we're.
Hasta
Sure.
Luego.
That works.
Hasta Luego. That's the first track on it.
Hell yeah. Hasta luego.
Yeah.
Metal every day, people.
Hell yeah.
Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com, and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza Donisi. Pizza Donisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken, fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the ultimate underground metal tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza Donisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza Donisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out. For 45 years and keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They're open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out. In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shade Beast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shade Beast Presents concert series.
Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shade Beast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soul Grinder Zine! An independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code MetalForge10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now. Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby.
In a broken wasteland,